All right, this one's for all the ladies out there, married ladies in particular. A friend of mine sent me a video the other day where the woman was talking about how when God describes the women as the helpers, he's using the same word that he used to describe himself when he was talking about his relationship to the Israelites. And I just thought that that was so cool that God was describing women like he describes himself when it comes to our relationships and the roles that we play in our homes. But then he kind of took that revelation a little bit further, and this is where things get interesting. I started thinking about how God helped the Israelites. And he did that by leading them and guiding them through things. He didn't do it for them. And if we're described in that very same way, then what does that say about us and how we should relate to our husbands? And it kind of clicked in my brain that submission to your husband does not mean that you are the weaker link. It does not mean that your husband has all of this power and authority and you are just a tier under him. Submission to your husband means that rather than stepping up and taking the reins, you guide him through it. And then I started thinking about some examples of what are some situations that wives would have to guide their husbands through? What are we designed to help them with? I think a big example is emotional maturity. We as women are naturally more emotionally mature, just like men are naturally physically stronger. That doesn't mean that either of us is the weaker of the pair. That just means that we have different strengths that complement each other in different ways. But here's the kicker, and this may be where some people get upset. My husband has never, not once, made me feel stupid or weak for not being as physically strong as he is. He has never shamed me when I ask him to move a chair or open a jar. But how many times do we shame our husbands for not being as emotionally mature as we are? That is where we excel. And that is where we have to guide them through that process, because we are the helpers. Just like God was the guide and helper for the Israelites. It's kind of like when you were in high school and you had to do a group project, and there's always that one person that just kind of takes over and they're like, just let me do it because I know what I'm doing and we'll all get an A and you can thank me later. And yeah, you'll get an A and cool and all, but they didn't even give you a chance to participate. Some people want to learn. Some people want to participate. And if we are taking over the projects that are in our home, then we're not even giving our husbands the chance to participate. I know a lot of men who want to be emotionally available. They want to become more vulnerable. They want their wives to know them, and they want to be the spiritual leaders for their homes, but they don't know how to do that. And they don't know how to do that because they've never been taught. They've never had anyone show them. And if we want our husbands to be emotionally vulnerable with us, that means that we have to be a safe space for them when they do decide to open up. We can't expect them to know how to do these things right away because society tells them one thing and their heart tells them another. We have to have grace and patience for them as we guide them. So that's just some food for thought for today. I hope that serves as a good reminder for you. It's a good reminder for me too. And if you want to learn more about subjects like this one, you can always check out the podcast. You can find that in my profile.